Today I will teach you how to achieve a basic random NPC generation based on the customization system that we have made through the series. Hello world, ByteSeb here. I want to apologize for the delay that this video had. I just have been very busy and had some issues. But well, you don't come here to know about my life. So let's get back to the subject. If you have not watched the first two parts of this tutorial series, go ahead and watch them, because we are going to use all the code that we have in those videos explain it. But before doing that, let me explain you exactly what is going to be done. Inheritance is a key feature to achieve what we want. If you do not know what inheritance is, it basically lets a class declare some code and the classes that inherit it will have it too. This is useful mostly for recycling code. Instead of copy pasting the code that we want in several classes, we just create a class with that code and make the classes that we need to extend the first class. We're going to rename the character scene to player, because now character is going to be the class that we inherit from, and the player is going to be just a subclass of it. I recommend you to move everything to a new folder called player. In this folder you should have the player scene and a new script that we're going to name player.gd to match with what we have, and make sure to extend from character.gd. Open the character script. We're going to cut all the physics process function. Remember that this code is the one responsible for the player's movement. Now go and paste it in your player script. If we run the code, you will see that it behaves exactly as it did before when we had no inheritance. The character script takes care of storing the references to every part node, like the hair or eyes, but also contains the code for syncing the animations of all parts, while in the player script we just have the code for moving and jumping. If we make a class that extends character.gd, they will be able to access the nodes and the sync parts function, but they won't be able to be controlled by our input, because that code is just for the player. With this in mind, let's create a new folder that contains a new scene that will spawn our NPCs. I called it NPC spawner. The scene consists of a simple node 2D to which we will add a timer as a child and its respective script. Duplicate the player scene, name it NPC and save it in a new folder. Open the scene we just duplicated and replace its script with a new one. The way the generation works is by having one or more arrays of presets for a part. For example, if we want to have several variations for the hair color of an NPC, we will add the colors that we like to a pool color array. But let's say that you don't want to just be able to set the hair color variations, but also the hairstyle variations. In this case, you should also add another array, but this time a texture array that is going to store all the textures for the hair. I recommend to modify your scene to see how it would look like, and if you like it, just add that value to the array. In my case, I made an array for the skin, hair and eye colors, but I also included a texture array to have variations for the hairstyle, the chest and the legs. Once all the arrays contain the desired variations, start the timer in the ready function. I declared an export variable that represents the delay between each spawn and passed it to the start function of the timer, and also made a variable that preloads the NPC scene to be able to instance it later. Make a function called spawn. Inside of it we will create an instance of the NPC. Call the function initialize and add the instance to the current scene. Now we do not have any initialize method in the NPC script, so go ahead and create it. Don't be like me and remember that this script has to extend the character class. I made some variables for each variation array. They will store the corresponding result of randomly picking an item for the variation array. Create a position parameter to know where to spawn the NPC, and also add the parameter for each one of the variables, setting the variable's value to the parameters. In the ready function, access each part and set its self-modulate or texture property to the corresponding variable, and do the same for the position. Go back to the NPC spawner script, and here make a function to get a random item from a parameter array. This is going to randomize everything first to avoid getting the same results on each call. Then shuffle the past first array and return the first item. Using the justCreated method, get a random item for each variation array and pass it to the initialize function of the NPC instance. Don't forget to also pass the position of the NPC spawner. Connect the timers on timeout signal and inside of it call spawn. If I run the program, you can see that it works. Weirdly, but it works. You may want to solve a couple of things. The first one is randomizing a bit every NPC's position so that they do not get stuck. The second one would be starting the idle animation, and the last one applying gravity to the NPCs. So for the first thing, return to the NPC spawner's spawn method, and instead of passing the position, add a randomized offset to the X position first. After that, you can pass it. To play the idle animation, it is as simple as accessing the animation player node from the NPC script and playing the animation. And to apply gravity, add the result of delta multiplied by the gravity force constant to the velocity's y property. Call move and slide and pass the velocity and vector to .up to know when the NPC is touching the floor. Now, when the program runs, you can see that the NPCs spawn separated from the other ones and are animated. I set the character spawner's position higher so you can see how the NPCs fall when they are spawned. I added a lot of different and some weird variations as an example. In this tutorial, I gave you the basics for random NPC generation, but you can implement your own based on the system that you've watched throughout the series. And now it is going to be easier for you because I uploaded the project to GitHub. The link is in the description below. I planned this video as the final part of the character customization series, but if you want me to show you any other thing, comment it down below, and if I figure out an implementation, I can make a video about it. Kind of off topic, but just so you know, Project AV is not dead or anything like that. I just have not had anything interesting to say about it for now, but you could expect a devlog soon. This was all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you subscribe, comment it down below and I will reply or heart your comment. Goodbye world, see you in the next one.